Hey guys, Sean T. Phillips here on that brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shout bear today. Taking to go out today, see what things came out today, see what things are on sale. I know today there's not a whole ton of things releasing. I think one of the only really big releases is 50 Shades of Grey Freed. And I think there's like a couple of different exclusive editions of that one. I know there's like a Best Buy Steelbook, and I think Target has an exclusive one for that. And then I think the Batman, Batman Ninja, I think that releases today as well. Other than that though, not a whole ton of other things, but we'll see what other things that there are today. Also, the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. Some really cool stuff from Scream Factory, like the It's Alive trilogy. I'm going to be talking about that at the end, as well as a bunch of other things as well, so definitely stay tuned for those at the end of this video. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. And they actually have a standee out here for 50 Shades Freed. Like I said, this is the final in the 50 Shades of Grey films. These movies are okay. I talked about this one in my last video. They also have on here on sale Girls Trip, Murder on the Orient Express, 3 billboards for $15, Shape of Water for $15. But there should be like an exclusive edition here, I thought, of this one. That included like a bonus disc or something here. But it's $19.99 for that, but I don't see the exclusive only Target one. Over here, I don't see it either. What I saw, I think I said I thought it had like a 30-minute extra bonus disc or something like that. Other than that though, like I said, there's really nothing else in here today at all. I don't see the Batman one either. The Batman, I think it was called like Batman Lego or something like that. I might be totally wrong. It wasn't like a Batman, like a Lego movie in the Lego style, but I think it was called Batman Lego. But no, I don't see that one over here, so I don't know if they didn't put that one out yet. But like I said, not really a huge release week in here, release week DVD or Blu-ray wise at all. But other than that though, nothing really that different. I'll have to see if at Walmart they should have out the Batman Lego one. Into Walmart we go. And I don't know what I was talking about in Target. I was saying Batman Lego or something. It was a Batman Ninja one, but they didn't have that in there. But I have no idea why I was saying Batman Lego when it wasn't the Legos. Sometimes I say odd things and I'm like, I thought after I was walking out, I'm like, what was I talking about? Why was I saying that? And one cool thing I saw online, which I think might be a Walmart exclusive, and I don't know if they're going to have them in here, I think it's only for DVDs, was these Deadpool slipcovers, where they added like Deadpool's face into the covers. For like Office Space, they put him into it. For like Logan, it was his hand. A bunch of different ones, all for like Fox titles, but they look kind of cool, but I'm pretty sure though they're only DVD only ones though. Yeah, but in here it's really picked over, and see, they have all these things now. This location is doing this now, where you have to get them to get the actual discs for the new releases. Like I said, 50 Shades Freed, and then the 4K is only $3 more, so that's not bad for a 4K. They also have this edition here of it, which has all of the films together for $29.99. I believe that's only the for DVD. I don't know if there's a Blu-ray. But like, yeah, it's all picked over. Like, and actually, it's not really picked over. It's just they want you to get them from the actual sections. But I believe this one released today as well. This one called Paradox. But this is what I was talking about. This Lego Ninja one, the animated movie. Now, why am I keep calling it Lego? Batman Ninja. I don't know why I keep saying Lego. Like I said, I was messing that all up. Yeah, they see they've totally changed this around now. Even like these ones, you have to have them get them. Den of Thieves. So that seems to be the new thing in here, is have them actually get the copies. I believe too the 4K released of I don't see that in here. I know this one was today. The 4K of Saving Private Ryan. I believe that one was today. But I think there was also a 4K today of the Phantom Thread, I believe. But other than that though, that's all of the major new things in here. And all over here though, this all changed out last week, so nothing new over here. But yeah, it's really strange now that some of these ones, they have to actually get them, I guess, from the back or something. But it doesn't seem to be all the locations, mainly this one I've noticed. And I think I'm going to head to another Walmart just to see if they have those Deadpool, new ones with the slipcovers. So they were kind of cool, and I don't know exactly how much they are. I'm guessing they're going to be like $8 or something like that. They usually are around that range, but I want to see if I can show those for the video. Into the second Walmart we go. Yeah, but like I said though, this location doesn't do any of that stuff where you have to actually have them get it out of the back. But these slipcover things in here, or these kind of things that are kind of like this, where it's the same release, for Deadpool, but then it has, a new exclusive, cover to it, that you can only, I believe it, I'm not 100% certain though if it's exclusive only to here, to Walmarts or not, and I don't know for sure if they're out everywhere, but I'm not seeing them in this location either. If you guys have come across them or saw them anywhere though, let me know for sure, because they did seem really interesting, because like I said, they were like taking Deadpool's face and then like adding them into the poster. So like for example of like something like this would be like Deadpool's face added over it. They were kind of cool, like, they're just, like I said, repackaging of the same editions, but still I like that, because they were kind of weird. And like I said though, if you guys have seen them anywhere though, let me know for sure though. And this past weekend I saw a couple different films. So the first one I saw was the remake of the film Overboard. This one stars Anna Faris and the actor who was, in How to Be a Latin Lover and Instructions Not Included. Always really love the stuff he's in. He's in a bunch of really funny movies. And this one, though, changed around the roles, because the original film was about a rich girl who falls overboard on a boat, and Kurt Russell's character says that they were married, and, and then he basically uses her to help around the house and help with the kids. And this one, it's about Anna Faris's character, who's working for this guy who's on this really rich yacht, and she's there kind of cleaning the carpets, and they get in a huge argument, and she gets fired, and he ends up falling overboard later in the day on the boat, and she finds out about it and says that they're married, at the hospital and everything. And it's kind of like she's using him because she has to study for these medical exams to be a nurse, and the mother can't take care of the kids and watch them during the day while this is all going on. So it's basically like she's using him, and he's like doing all this kind of like jobs and stuff. And I actually thought it was a fun movie. I'm always been a fan of Anna Faris. Like I said, I love the actor too who plays the fake husband, who is from Instructions Not Included and How to Be a Latin Lover. But it's not a perfect movie or anything, but I did think it was a fun, and I like how they kind of changed around, like I said, the roles and that. Then the other one I saw was the film Tully. And that one, from the trailers and stuff, I like that they kind of don't there's a lot of surprises in the movie. It's basically stars Charlize Theron, and she's a mother who's just about to give birth, and it's right when she gives birth, her life is kind of falling apart, and she's having a hard time dealing with the kids because she has other kids too, and it's kind of, she's having a terrible time with the whole thing. And her brother gives her this gift of having a night nanny who kind of comes and watches the baby at night, so then she can kind of sleep and kind of chill out and everything. And it's essentially about this night nanny who comes there, and they kind of form this friendship, and it's sort of like the whole thing that happens and everything, and kind of her trying to get her life back together, which I really did like the movie. I like the director's other films. It's Jason Reitman who did like Juno, Men, Women, and Children. It was the same writer as well, Diablo Cody, who wrote Juno. And the last one I saw, which is probably my favorite of all of them, is the movie starring David Tennant called Bad Samaritan. And that movie was amazing. It's about these two guys who work as valets, and they have this scheme of basically they go, and when they're taking the person's car to valet it, they actually go to the person's house. One of them keeps watch and stuff while they're at the restaurant, and he goes in the house and kind of robs little items and stuff to sell them. And of course he goes into this one house, David Tennant's character's house, and he goes in there and he finds this woman tied up and chained up in this room. And it's pretty much about him, when he discovers this, trying to, tell the cops about the whole thing. And it's sort of like he has all these sorts of problems and all these sort of issues and going on, and it becomes a terrible situation, the fact that he told the cops, and it's like a nightmare for him for his life. I don't know, I really love that movie. David Tennant did a really good job. It was cool too. I kept on thinking the one friend character, I was like, what did I know him from? And he was one of the contestants on I think the second season of the American X Factor. They don't do that one anymore, but I knew I recognized him. But Definitely would recommend you guys check out that one. I know that one probably won't be in theaters for a long time, but definitely I really like that one. Let me know in the comments below though if what you guys saw, if you saw any films this past weekend, below. Into Best Buy we go. In here today, though, there's a couple of exclusive steelbooks. Like they have this exclusive steelbook here for Saving Private Ryan, the 4K edition here. For that one, that one's $27.99 for that. So it's the exact same price for the 4K standard edition as the steelbook edition here. Like I said, that one's an exclusive. This is one of the other things that released today. This is the story of Princess Diana. And then they also, in the front of the store, they had an exclusive steelbook of the 50 Shades of Grey, or 50 Shades Freed. Like I said, it was the final of the 50 Shades of Grey films. And this is one of the other ones today. And I don't think this, I don't know if this one's an exclusive here or not. I think it is the Batman Ninja movie, which I kept calling the Batman Lego movie. That one is $19.99 for the steelbook, so that one's $3 more for that edition here. But other than that, though, that's all of the major new things here today. But anyway, though, guys, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these DVD Blu-ray shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Now stay tuned now for some new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And these first ones here, just to let you guys know, these ones are available from Arrow Video. This one here is a trilogy of films called the Bloodthirsty Trilogy, which has on here The Vampire Doll, Lake of Dracula, and Evil of Dracula. Really, really cool artwork here on this release. And it has on this, though, the original Japanese soundtracks to the films, as well as brand new English translations for the subtitles on here. And then inside of here is a booklet, and these are all films from the 70s, and this has a booklet in here with some pictures from the films, and then facts and stuff about the film and trivia and all that kind of stuff in here. So like I said, just want you guys know about these releases. This one here is from Arrow Video as well, and this is one here, a Joe D'Amato film called Death Smiles on a Murderer. Joe D'Amato directed, he did Emmanuel in America, Anthropologist, I believe that might be how you say it. It was also called Grim Reaper, which was a really creepy movie. He's done a lot of different movies, though, but Grim Reaper, I think that was one of the UK title for the film, but like a really weird movie about people going on this boat to this kind of like weird villa place, and like this guy was killing everybody. It was a really, really creepy, weird movie, but he's directed some really cool films. This is a movie here from 1973. This is like a reanimation type film that's about this guy reanimating corpses and stuff. It has on here, though, a brand new 2K restoration of the film here. It has on here an archival interview. It has a, with the director. It has a commentary on here with film critic Tim Lucas. It has on here a interview with the Swedish Star talking about their career on here. So a bunch of different features on here. It also has a booklet as well with some pictures from the film and, facts and all that kind of stuff about the movie as well. Like I said, just want you guys know about these ones being available. And the next two here are both from Arrow Video's Arrow Academy line. This is a movie here called Smash Place. And this is from director Ronald Donaldson, who also directed the one that Arrow Video released recently called, I think it was I believe it was called Sleeping Dogs, that they released that about a month or so back. But this stars Bruno Lawrence, who was in the film Quiet Earth, which is a really, really cool science fiction film. And I think Arrow Video UK might be releasing that one on Blu-ray, I believe, coming up. This has on here, though, a commentary track on here with the director, as well as a 51-minute making of on the film here, as well as a booklet in here with some pictures and stuff like that from the film itself. And the last one here from Arrow Academy's line is a movie here called Black Venus. This has on here, feature-wise, though, an interview with critic Neil Young, talking about the film, itself on here. But like I said, just want you guys know, these are available from Arrow Video. And the next one's here from Shot Factory Screen Factory line is a movie here called Desolation. This is a movie about a mother and son who are going out along with her friend, the mother's friend, going out to the woods, and they were going out to scatter the, her husband and the kid's father's, ashes because he recently passed away, and they had kind of gone out on like trips like that in the past and had been out to these woods before. But when they go out there, like immediately the son notices this strange guy across the lake wearing these glasses, like staring them down, and he's like looking at him really, really odd. This really weird looking guy. He kind of has like a Rob Zombie kind of look to him a little bit, but like a guy that was like, lurking around. And then, of course, while they're out there later in the day, the kid sees him again, this guy lurking around. And pretty much what's going on is this guy is like lurking around, following them and spying on them. And then, like, they take notice of him and say, "What are you doing?" The guy's just sort of standing there like this with these glasses. And then, of course, they start walking. Then this guy starts walking and continues on lurking around behind them. And then it's pretty much like, at night, what ends up happening, and there's some weird things going on, and this guy is like, it's actually a pretty tense movie, because this guy is always sort of there, and then sometimes he kind of wanders off, and then he's there again, but it's like there's some really, really, really strange stuff that happens with what this guy is up to out there and what is going on. It's actually very, very creepy, and the idea too of being out in the woods like that, and then somebody, like, there was like, pretty much, you couldn't really do anything because this person is like following you everywhere, is a kind of a really creepy concept. But I actually really did like this one, and like I said, it was kind of a creepy movie. The next one here is a movie starring Peter Weller called Of Unknown Origin. And it's a movie basically, though, about Peter Weller and his wife and son are ending up, leaving the house to go to like a family event, and he's staying behind because he's got like all this work he has to do for a project and everything, so he can't go along. But right when he's in the house, he starts like hearing like noises in like the ceiling, and like things are kind of like falling down. He sees things in the house falling down, like the food has been eaten in the cupboard, like all kinds of things have like going on. And this is a movie basically about Peter Weller becoming totally obsessed because there's a rat, this big rat in the house, and it's pretty much about him trying to figure out how he's going to get rid of this rat. And it's like but it's not like a regular rat. It's a huge rat. It's causing all kinds of problems, and it's pretty much purposely toying with Peter Weller's character. And it's like things at his work are getting screwed up, and like everything in his life is falling apart because of this rat. And it's like everything, he can't think of anything else but figuring out how he's going to catch and kill this rat. And it's like all kinds of problems going on. This is actually a really, really cool movie. And it was funny, when I first started watching this, I was thinking, was this house that he was living in? Because there's like a real modern like kind of house, but the outside of it like had a real old look to it. It looked a lot like the place from Alice Sweet Alice, but it wasn't. I think this was shot in Canada. And I was like, I don't know if anyone's seen this movie. I feel like the place that he was at, though, they shot something else at it, for at least for the exteriors of his house. I don't know, it just looked very familiar. But it has on here, though, a brand new 2K scan of the film. It has interviews on here with the executive producer on here, as well as the screenwriter, a commentary track on here with the director and actor Peter Weller. There's also an interview on here as well with one of the actors in the movie as well. But this is actually a pretty cool, if you guys like those kind of movies that are about like a creature, like a rat or anything like that that's causing all kinds of issues, this is definitely one to check out. The next one here is from Shot Factory Scream Factory line as well. And this is a really, really cool set, and this is the It's Alive trilogy. And this is from director Larry Cohen, who also directed The Stuff and a whole bunch of movies. Always really big fan of the stuff that he's done. He's also a writer, wrote movies like Phone Booth, and he also directed the movie that Shout Factory released a couple months back, starring Eric Roberts, called Ambulance, which is actually a really cool movie, and that's one you don't hear about much, but it was a really, really cool one. But this is the trilogy of all the It's Alive films, and it has in here, I'll show you guys, it has It's Alive 1, it has It's Alive 2, which is, and it has in here It's Alive, Island of Alive. And guys, if you guys don't know, basically the concept of the movies, the first one was about this family, this couple that are, gave birth to this baby, in the hospital. But, the baby, kills everybody in the operating room. Everybody is killed, like all the doctors, the nurses and everything. And the husband goes and sees, when he's going there to check on his wife, he sees what has happened, and it's essentially, though, about this baby that has, like, something has made it, like, kind of a monstrous kind of baby that's, like, has this crazy look to him. And it's pretty much, though, about, like, the cops are trying to track this baby because the baby ran out of the hospital and is now missing. And, like, it deals with like, the pharmaceutical companies and all these kind of things that are like worried that they had something to do with it. And you know, it's pretty much just about like this baby, and you know, it's kind of roaming in the streets and it's attacking people, and like, and every time it gets like freaked out and everything. It's a really, really cool movie. The second one though was dealing with, you know, there being more than one of these babies. The third film though, I actually really liked the third movie. It had some like kind of mixed opinions, but it was kind of about the babies, you know, and without spoiling too much, it's about like the babies now as these different babies who have been sent to this island where they can kind of live, and it's kind of like people kind of went there to hunt them, so there's all this kind of stuff going on, but the baby's kind of growing up into like adulthood on this island and everything. It was, I don't know, I really liked the third one, and Karen Black was in that one as well. But on this, it has brand new 2K scans of the film on here, really, really great transfers in all the movies here. It has a brand new documentary thing on here with Larry Cohen, you know, talking all about the films, like looking back on the films themselves, all three of the movies. It has commentary tracks on here, but on the, looking back, it also has interviews on here with the actor James Dixon, a couple of the actors as well, like Lorraine Landon, who's in the third film. It has on here theatrical trailers, radio spots, but really, really cool films. The other thing, too, when it comes to Shout Factory, Scream Factory line, some cool stuff they announced, which I'm so excited about, is they're going to be releasing the Eddie Furlong film that he stars in, Brain Scan, and they're going to be releasing Return of the Living Dead Part 2 with the original soundtrack, because, you know, it got changed, the music, because like all these issues with it, they had to change the score in that one, so it's going to have the original, you know, release soundtrack that was on the VHS versions and everything. So that's ones I cannot wait for the second Return of the Living Dead. This one here is from Shout Factory's Shout Select line, and this is the collector's edition of the David Lynch film Wild at Heart. This movie, though, I feel like when it comes to David Lynch movies, this is one of the ones you don't hear about as often brought up, and I actually think this is probably one of my favorites of his. You know, I don't know, it's just a really cool movie, and it's kind of his take on like a twisted version of The Wizard of Oz, because the one mother's character is always kind of looking into this kind of crystal ball kind of thing, and the way the movie feels and everything has sort of like a Wizard of Oz kind of feel, but it's basically about Laura Dern and Nicolas Cage character are dating, and Laura Dern's mother absolutely despises Nicolas Cage. Like in the very beginning of this movie, she hires this guy to kind of kill him, and Nicolas Cage kills him first, and he ends up getting put in jail. And right when he gets out, Nicolas Cage meets back up with Laura Dern, and it's kind of them going on a joyride and kind of like trying to get away and everything. And Nicolas Cage, of course, was on parole and wasn't supposed to go, so people are after him for doing that. And it's kind of about Laura Dern's mother's character is sending people to find her and, you know, kill Nicolas Cage, and it's kind of on their road trip and kind of all the kind of people that they come across and all these weird people. And William Dafoe is in this movie, and he plays this amazing weird character, and he's got these really small, tiny, like filed down teeth. He is amazing in this movie. This is such a great, like really underrated movie. On here though, it has a brand new interview on here with the writer of the film, or the novel the movie was based on. It has on here over an hour of deleted scenes. It has on here one feature that was on the old DVD release that I really liked, David Lynch talking about like remastering this for DVD, because it was an old thing from 2004, but it was an interesting thing about him talking about the whole process and everything. I don't know, David Lynch, so everything interview-wise with him is always pretty cool. I remember that though when I first saw the DVD of this one. I don't know if that was on the old Blu-ray release or not, that feature. Same with the deleted scenes. I don't feel like they were. I'm not 100% certain though, but this is one, if you guys are a fan of David Lynch, highly, highly recommend you guys check this out. Has on here also some interviews and stuff on here, TV spots, the making of documentary on this one. The next one here is from Lionsgate. This is from the creator and writer, and director of the Wallace and Gromit films, the Wallace and Gromit shorts, as well as the Wallace and Gromit feature. I think The Curse of the Werebear. I never remember the features one, but because this was not the guy who did, I believe he was involved with Shaun the Sheep, but this was the director who was really behind all the Wallace and Gromits. And this is a movie here called Early Man. Like I said, this is from Lionsgate. I saw this one in theaters as well. I grew up as a kid watching the Wallace and Gromit shorts. Like I used to really, really love these. And this one really has that vibe to this one, that feel, especially with the stop motion animation. I love this kind of stop motion animation. It takes years and years to make. And this is essentially though about set where there's still these Neanderthal cavemen living in this small portion of land, but then there's a a kind of bronze area where it's run by this like crazy weird leader kind of character who is addicted to like gold and silver, mainly to gold, and he's all into money and everything, and he wants to take away this small land from the Neanderthal, the cavemen, to like be mining for gold and silver and things like that, and he just kind of wants them out and wants that land as well. So it's pretty much about the cavemen, you know, all being dispersed from this land and not knowing what they're going to do, and the one head caveman, voiced by Eddie Redmayne, he wants to try and, you know, find a way to get the land back. And you know there was always these cave pictures that they kind of you know saw on their land of like these kicking around this ball like a soccer ball, and he basically sees too that these in this bronze area where the leader, you know, who's taking their land away, they're kind of playing this soccer game, and he basically says, "Oh, I'll challenge you to a soccer game, and if I win, we can get the land back." And it's essentially about him, Eddie Redmayne's character, who's one of the Neanderthal cavemen, trying to, you know, work with all the other cavemen to try and like learn how to train, and they, you know, to play, to play soccer to try and get the land back. And that's essentially what it is. It's just a really fun, goofy movie. I feel like it's a movie that kids will like, adults will like, and like I said too, if you guys are a fan of the Wallace and Gromit, you know, series, highly recommend you guys check this out. It has on here though some featurettes on the film. It has on here hanging at the studios, the workshop explanation, you know, showing the workshop of where they do the stop motion animation. But just a really, really fun movie here. And the next one I got here from Warner Brothers, from the Warner Archive. They sent over a free copy of this one to let you guys know about. This is the Bella Thorne TV series here called Famous in Love. This is the complete first season of the show. I've watched a lot of Bella Thorne's films and everything, so I was really interested in seeing this. And I always like things too that deal with like making movies. And it's basically about Bella Thorne's character. Her and her friend hear about this open, you know, casting call for this really big movie, kind of like something to be like in the Divergent, Twilight, Hunger Games kind of series. So she goes out for an open casting call, but she just doesn't think it's going to, you know, do anything. And she's like busy too in school, but she just does it kind of for fun. But she ends up actually getting this part. And the whole thing deals with her trying to juggle the idea of being in this movie and then dealing with her parents, because her father really wants her to stay in school and wants her to figure out how she can do school as well as this. It deals with a whole lot of like love triangles going on as well between like Bella Thorne's one friend, this guy that she kind of likes, but then she likes the lead of this movie, so there's all this going on, and then the lead of the movie, the one guy is like, you know, who's in the film, is his mother is the producer of the film, but then she's having a thing with the other star, and that other star was slept with his girlfriend. So there's all kinds of love triangles and issues and problems going on in the movie with the producers and things behind the scenes and all sorts of issues going on. And it's kind of about her juggling too, about how, you know, going to interviews and starting to become famous from this show. But honestly though, I really got into this. It's actually honestly a decent show. It's nothing like amazing or anything, but I actually thought this was actually a pretty cool show. The next one here, Warner Bros. Sent over a free copy of this one as well to let you guys know about. This is the complete third season here of Rick and Morty. And this, you know, I think now too, anytime I think of Rick and Morty, I'm going to think of that Szechuan sauce because of the whole thing with McDonald's and then how they had that limited one, but then they ended up, you know, then getting the actual sauce now for a little while. I think it might be gone already, but they had it for a little bit. The Szechuan sauce, because they talked about that in the show because it was the sauce from Mulan, but I don't know, I'm always going to think about that. This, like I said, this is the complete third season of the show. This is a really, really fun, ridiculous, more adults kind of show because it's more like, you know, adult language and everything. But it's essentially though about this kid and this like wacky kind of like Doc Brown scientist kind of traveling through time and going on all these sort of weird adventures and all kinds of weird quirky stuff happening. This has on here though 10 episodes from the from the third season here. It has 13 commentaries with the creators, cast and crew. It has on here Inside the Recording Booth, the origin of Rick and Morty inside episodes here. But like I said, just want to let you guys know about this one available here. And the next two ones here I want to let you guys know about. These ones are both from Paramount, and they're the brand new 4K Ultra HD editions here of the film that Mel Gibson directed and stars in, Braveheart, and the film directed by Ridley Scott starring Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, Gladiator. Both of these are really, really great movies. The Gladiator here, though, includes the theatrical cut as well as the extended cut of the film. The extended cut is about 15 minutes longer. Gladiator, though, is one of those movies I remember when this first came out to DVD. I remember really, really watching through all the special features, because it was one of those movies that was really intricate with the effects, because they were using some like original kind of like Coliseum kind of places, but they were, you know, extending out them to make them, you know, look like they did during the days of the Gladiator. And they did an amazing job though with filling these with people and all the kind of intricate stuff that they did. But a really, really brutal, great film. It's basically about, you know, Russell Crowe's character who is going to basically take over the empire from the man, you know, who was in charge of everything, who was, you know, he was going to actually take over his actual son, played by Joaquin Phoenix, because he didn't like his son, and, you know, they really didn't get along, but, you know, Joaquin Phoenix's character, of course, is not accepting to this, and he kills Russell Crowe's family, and it's pretty much about Russell Crowe's character getting, you know, forced into the Gladiator games, which is like fighting to the death, and it's sort of him trying to rise up and actually, you know, essentially try and get revenge on, you know, Joaquin Phoenix's character. But a really, really great, brutal film. Like I said, it includes the theatrical cut as well as the extended cut. Has a bunch of things on here like deleted and abandoned scenes. It has things on here about the visual effects. It has a commentary track on here with Ridley Scott. And then Gladiator, though, is basically about, you know, Mel Gibson's character, who is, you know, there's the rule going on, like, it's ruling, you know, basically there's a leader who's kind of taking over Scotland and everything, and it's like really brutal and everything, and it's essentially, though, he's, you know, killed people that, you know, that had connection to Mel Gibson's character, his family and people that he knew and everything, and it's one thing that ends up happening that makes him kind of just sort of be fed up with everything, and it's about him essentially leading this whole Scottish army to try and take back from this guy. And it's another really, really brutal but really great film here. Has on here, though, a commentary track on here with Mel Gibson. It has a tale of William Wallace, a writer's journey, so a bunch of different featurettes from the film. Now, both of these movies, though, look absolutely amazing on 4K. These are one of those films that are, like I said, are very, very brutal, you know, gritty films. And look, you know, because the big thing with 4K is the HDR, which is the high dynamic range, which is the contrast levels, you know, darker darks and, you know, brighter brights, which is like brighter color levels and everything. And both of these films highly benefit from 4K. So if you guys have 4K, though, these are ones that I would definitely recommend you guys check out for sure, you know, on 4K. And next one here is from Paramount as well. I just want you guys to know this one is available. And this is the complete second season of the TV series here called the Shannara Chronicles. I believe that's how you say that. I might be saying that wrong. It's actually a pretty cool, you know, like fantasy series. It's kind of like a cross between, like, I don't know, kind of Game of Thrones mixed with like a Hunger Games kind of thing. It's like, I think it might have been based on a book series, but I might be totally wrong about that. But I've only watched a couple episodes of this show, not seen all of it, but it's actually a pretty interesting show. I know the one actress from this was the actress who was the main girl in the Pan's Labyrinth. This has on here, though, behind the scenes on here. It has inside the wardrobe closet, featurette here on the new characters, as well as sitting down, you know, with the showrunners talking about the production of this show. But like I said, just want you guys know, this one is available from Paramount. The next one here is from Twilight Time. This one is limited to 3,000 copies. This is one I had not seen this movie since this one first released, and I forgot how much I love this film. It's a movie here starring Greg Kinnear and William Dafoe called Autofocus. And this is about the life of Bob Crane, who starred in the show Hogan's Heroes. And like behind the scenes, but, you know, Bob Crane, you know, was a radio DJ who was, you know, really popular on the radio, and then got the job on Hogan's Heroes. But he was like a total like sex maniac, and he met William Dafoe's character, who was like a guy who was all into stereos and, like, you know, surround sound type stuff and video cameras and equipment and like top notch, you know, videotape before they were really popular and before they were known. And he was all into that, filming things and everything. And he met, you know, Greg Kinnear when he was on set, because he was installing some, you know, sound in the one guy cast member's car. They kind of started having this weird relationship when they would go out together and pick up chicks. And even though Greg Kinnear's character was married, he was like constantly cheating on his wife, and he was a total sex maniac. And they were kind of going, and William Dafoe was like filming it, and they were watching it back. But, you know, if you guys know, I don't want to ruin what happens, even though it's like a known story, what ends up happening between both of them. But, you know, it's better just to not know it if you don't, so you kind of go into it sort of surprised. But it's sort of just dealing with this weird relationship between both of them, and all this weird stuff going on, and about, you know, Bob Crane's life kind of little by little falling apart because of the decisions he was making and all sorts of stuff. It is a absolutely amazing movie. It's directed by Paul Schrader, who wrote a Taxi Driver, but really good movie. Great transfer on here. Has on here though isolated music track. It has a commentary track on here with Paul Schrader, commentary on here with Greg Kinnear and William Dafoe, producer's commentary, making a featurette, deleted scenes. So a bunch of stuff on here. And like I said, this is a limited edition one here to 3,000 copies. The next one here is from RLJ Entertainment, RLJ Entertainment Films. This is a movie here called I Kill Giants. This is actually a pretty interesting movie. Like, I didn't know much about what this was going into this. It kind of has a feel of that one Monsters something. I can't remember what it was called. It was out like a year or two back. It came out. There was one. It's like, if you want to break something, go ahead and break it. That one, that trailer. I forgot what it was called, but it had that sort of feel a little bit. Same with a sort of feel, little bit of like Where the Wild Things Are. It's about this girl who lives with her sister and her, I think it was a brother, and she has like a real like imaginative, like she like really is into things like Dungeons and Dragons kind of things, and she has like all these kind of like this packet things she wears, talks about like spells and about how she's always hunting and fighting giants and keeping the world safe and everything. It's essentially though about her, and like her sister is in the film, played by Imogen Poots, her sister, and she's kind of trying to take care of her. But this girl though, like I said, has like a serious imagination. She meets this one girl who came from England. She becomes friends with her, and she's kind of telling her about all the things that she does about protecting from the giants and everything. It's essentially though about this girl and her life, and like bullies, and she's bullied in school, and it's like a very heavy drama about things that are going on and everything. But then you kind of see these like giants, and you're like, oh, is she imagining this? Or is there some degree that this could be true? But it's like metaphors for everything. It's actually honestly a pretty interesting movie. It's a little hard to explain though. It has on here though the making of I Kill Giants, anatomy of a scene in here, I Kill Giants, the graphic novel, the first chapter of it, as well as a photo gallery on here. The next one, I literally just finished watching this, and I absolutely love this movie. I like these kind of movies. I like movies that are extremely dated, and this movie is extremely dated, but I really like a lot of dated movies like this, especially things like that are really different, like disco. And every time I think of disco, for some reason I think of like disco movies, I think of like horror movies, because of like, especially disco music like Prom Night, and certain things like you always think of like a disco is going to lead to that. This is not that kind of movie at all, but this is an early Jeff Goldblum movie here called Thank God It's Friday, and this is the 40th anniversary edition here, and this is from Mill Creek. All the next ones are going to be from Mill Creek, but this is essentially though, the Commodores are in this movie too, having an appearance. Donna Summers is in this movie, acting in the film. But it's basically, though, all about, this is set in 1978 in a disco, this like really popular LA disco club. And it deals with all of what happens during a couple of hours at night at this disco. And it's about like, it's one of those like ensemble character pieces where it's like cuts back and forth throughout the whole movie to lots of different characters. It's like, these two girls who want to go, these high school girls who want to figure out how they can get into this club, even though they're not old enough, because they want to enter this disco competition, dancing competition to win, money to buy tickets to go see Kiss. And then it has like one guy who's going on like a random blind date thing where they would do those like computer date things and match people up. He's there. These two nerdy guys there who are trying to get dates. These other two friends that are in there. This one couple who just ate next door at this really fancy restaurant, and the wife is like, I want to go party and dance, and the husband doesn't want to go. But then she goes in there, and Jeff Goldblum, who's the character who's like the head of the disco club, is trying to sleep with the one's wife, and he's like getting bet by the guy in the disco booth, that he can like sleep with her. So it's all kinds of like, like I said, it's all throughout all these different characters throughout the night. And the stuff with the Commodores though, there's all sorts of problems there, because like their instruments are like, the guy driving the instruments is late, so then they don't know if they're going to be able to perform. So it's a whole like mess of problems. But I totally 100% love this movie. I really got into this. It's just a really fun, and there's, like I said, there's something really fun sometimes about extremely dated movies, and this is extremely dated, but in a fun, like otherworldly way to like watch something like that. The next one's here This is a set I want to let you guys know about. This is from Mill Creek, and this is a Charles Bronson 4-movie collection here. And I don't know if any of these ones have been released in the past on Blu-ray or not. And this one has in here 4 different films. It has in here the I think it's Valenci Papers, the Stone Killers, Breakout, and Hard Times in here. And it's like a look at the back of this one. Like I said, I don't know if these ones had ever been released in the past or not on Blu-ray. I don't think they have, but I'm not 100% certain here. But Charles Bronson was a great, action star. Best known, I would say, for the Death Wish films. But just some really fun action films in here with him. This one here, this is a movie from Mill Creek as well, and this is about Barnum and Bailey, starring Burt Lancaster. This is basically the story, that was inspired the Greatest Showman film, recently that came out. And this is on his life and stuff. This is, of course, the Greatest Showman was, done as a musical form, and things were kind of changed around and stuff to this. This is more done on his actual life and stuff. And I always love these kind of pieces like this, especially things that deal with the circus and all that kind of stuff. This also includes in here a digital copy of the movie as well. And this set here, there's 2 different ones, because the one set on the DVD set has 2 different movies. This is the 6 Degrees collection and the Drama 4-in-1 collection of John Travolta films. And the Blu-ray set here has Basic, Lonely Hearts, a love song for Bobby Long. That's Scarlett Johansson's in that one. Perfect, which is John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis in that one. And that was like a relationship type film, and he like meets this woman because he's doing a story on her and stuff. It was actually, I remember actually liking that one. But this set here has 2 extra ones in here, which is actually pretty cool. And it has on here Look Who's Talking Now, which I always liked that, the Look Who's Talking movie. I think the second one was probably the best, because it was like the talking baby, and it was like Roseanne was voicing the one. But this one was the 3rd movie. It was like the dogs were talking in it. It got really kind of ridiculous, but I did like that one. And then of course The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, and that was about John Travolta's character who had all these sicknesses and couldn't leave, so he had to live in a plastic bubble. They made a remake of it with Jake Gyllenhaal in the Bubble Boy, which I love Bubble Boy, but hopefully one day that comes to Blu-ray. But I actually always really liked The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, and the father in that was the actor who played the father in the Brady Bunch. But like I said, just want to let you guys know about these ones here from Mill Creek. And the next one here is from a company called Filmlandia. And I want to let you guys know this one is available. And this is a documentary here called Vhs Lives A Schlokumentary. The thing that's pretty cool about this is me, along with Danny Sinestalker, who I've done a lot of videos with, are in here talking about VHS. And it's a documentary all about VHS collecting and like talking to collectors. It's talking to people like Lloyd Kaufman, directors, people who have huge collections. It kind of talks all about the VHS format, a lot of stuff dealing with horror films, and kind of like the decline of VHS, some of their rare tapes, searching for VHS, like kind of the whole thing about why people love VHS. And it's like I said, it's a documentary all on that. So if you guys are into like VHS collecting or documentaries on like the format, like certain formats, DVDs and Blu-rays and like VHS, stuff like that, I would definitely recommend you guys check this out. Like I said too, you can see me and Danny in here talking about, collecting. The next one here I want to let you guys know is available from VCI. It's a Bruce Lee film here called Bruce Lee's Deadly Fingers. And this has on here a brand new 2K scan of the film from the original 35mm negative. And feature-wise, it has a whole bunch of features. It has the original theatrical version. It has deleted scenes in here with German dialogue and English subtitles. A commentary track on here. High-definition transfers for other Kung Fu trailers, poster and lobby cars in here, bad Kung Fu dubs on this. Like I said, just want you guys know, this one is available from VCI. And the next one here is from Wild Eye Releasing, and this is a really sad movie. This is based on a true thing that happened. It's a movie here called Cruel Summer. It's about this kid who has autism, who is going out to the woods to go camping. He was trying to earn kind of like a Boy Scouts kind of merit badge type thing, but he goes out there. In the beginning of this movie, though, this girl makes up this thing. She's like talking to her current boyfriend, and she's saying how, oh yeah, your old ex-girlfriend, because the guy was like obsessed with his old ex-girlfriend, saying, she slept with everybody, and she even slept with this kid, and she says this kid who has autism, and he's like, oh, I have to go after him, I have to find him. And it's pretty much about him, becoming obsessed with finding where this kid is and going to his house, and he finds out that he's out in the woods. It's essentially though about him trying to track this kid down and what he's planning to do, and it's like really terrible, terrible, terrible. Like I said, this is based on a true thing, so it is a really hard watch because you know that this really happened, what goes on. So it's not like a fun movie in any sorts because, like I said, this stuff happened. But it was definitely an interesting, I thought good performances and everything though in this one. And it has on here though a director's commentary and has a Fright Fest interview on here, and the interview here with the star of the movie. And the next one here is one from Wild Eye Releasing as well. It's a movie here called House of Salem. This movie, though, this is basically about these kidnappers. They were sent to this house to kidnap this kid, and this kid, had was always real afraid of things and everything. And the kid, and they go in there to kidnap this kid, and they're wearing these really creepy, weird clown masks. And they're not like typical clown masks. They're almost made out of paper mache or rubber, kind of weird, skin tight, weird masks. But they go in there, to break in, and then the babysitter, though, they let her live and everything, but then the parents get home and they immediately kill this babysitter, because and then you find out there's something weird about these parents, and there's something really weird going on. The kidnappers, it may not be exactly what you think is going on, and there may be something really different to the whole thing. So it was actually kind of an interesting movie though, because it was not exactly what I was thinking at all. This has on here though deleted scenes and the trailers on this one. Last one here, just want to let you guys know, is out from Time Life. This is the Jackie Gleason show. This is Jackie Gleason show in color, and this has unreleased episodes. It's the 3-disc deluxe edition here. It has 12 never-before-released episodes of the show in full color. It has the guest stars in here, Jack Benny, George Burns, Milton Berle, Tony Bennett, Mickey Rooney, Groucho Marx, Florence Henriksen, Frankie Avalon, so a whole bunch of people in this one. Like I said, just want to let you guys know this one is available from Time Life. But anyway, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys.